Dzień dobry. 26 lat temu zaczynał moją relację z tym krajem tutaj w Krakowie, w Uniwersytecie. To zawsze jestem bardzo zadowolony z tego być w Krakowie. My name is Peinado. I'm Principal Standardization Lead for standards, security standards in NOKIA. And today, as the colleague was introducing, I'd like to give you some pointers, some advices on how to secure a critical infrastructure like mobile networks. And today is 5G, but tomorrow will be 6G. So there are different angles when we think about 5G or security or mobile network security. There is always the angle of, and everything that starts actually with the standards. So we need to create interoperable interfaces. We need to create security standards to secure those interfaces. And you know, this is always goes up from. Then when you try to implement those standards into product, you need to ensure that those products are secure. You need to ensure that those products are hardened. You have all these security certifications and evaluations in telco. And I don't know how many of you are aware of the GSMA NISAs or all the Cybersecurity Acts of European Union, etc. But then once you have products that implement standards, you have also the topic of operations, meaning that there are things that are not covered by standards. There are things that are covered by, you know, here you are security officers, you are security engineers, and you try to put, you know, you define your perimeter, the security domains. There are a lot of tools, a lot of devices taking care of security. And how we are going to operate that, right? And during the presentation, you will see that it's a bit different to take a network like a mobile network from any other IT network. Even if we acknowledge that the mobile networks are more and more in the direction of adopting IT protocols, still there are fundamental differences. And we'll see during the presentation what difference they are. Okay, so in the, yeah, let's go here. We have government new regulations. We have new standards coming out. We have actually also the infrastructure of the infrastructure we put our networks. So now the mobile networks are not anymore only devices and big devices, big hardware devices, but are also relying on clouds, are also relying on edge clouds, and are relying on even partially on IT infrastructure. This comes actually pretty I would say demanding for the overall infrastructure of the mobile network. If you add that the evolution of the cybercrime and the evolution of the attacks are growing and growing, then you have actually an ecosystem or landscape that you need to deal with. And if you see, it is pretty different from what it is, the implications of the in the IT world, where you have workstations, where you have databases, where you have applications, than the implications of in the telco network. Meaning, here we are not talking about hacking a web server. We are talking about another kind of threats like the signaling storms from the radio network to the core network. We are talking about attacks on roaming interfaces. We are talking about another kind of services that needs to be actually provided on real time and needs to be provided lively. This is pretty different. And even if the standards give you a lot of tools, you first need to make decisions on those tools. Meaning, if you read all the standards in 3GPP, the security standards in 3GPP, it's a big document. I mean, I think that there are more or 700 pages with, we already consume all the alphabet for the annexes. There are really good things there. You know, mobile networks today are much more secure than yesterday. IMSIs I mean, IMSIs, you can actually secure the IMSIs, so IMSI catching is not anymore a new thing or a possible attack if you implement the corresponding encryption algorithms and you implement the corresponding security on the IMSI. If you go to security, it is to security in the roaming interfaces, you can actually now enforce authentication on the serving network and on the subscriber in the home network, meaning that there is no possibility, if you implement the correct options, for an intermediary to actually introduce or inject attacks or threats in your roaming interfaces that could provoke denial of service, fraud, etc., etc. There are actually protocols in the radio interface, in the core interfaces. Now, if you see how it looks like a core network in 5G, it's pretty different than in the previous generations. So you have the opportunity to actually establish or setting up what it is so-called zero trust principles. Nobody trusts in each other. The network functions are independent. You have authorization frameworks. You have authentication frameworks. So you have a lot of tools, but you need to make the decision. And you know, in the standards, there are all the things are really mandatory to support and optional to implement. And every security officer dealing with mobile network infrastructure needs to make a decision on which kind of features, which kind of options out of the standards we are going to select. This is pretty important, and as I said, it is very different impact of the threats in a telco network than in an IT network. We are talking about critical infrastructure. We are talking, our ambition is that those telecom networks provide communications to critical infrastructure like I know, military networks or public safety or I don't know, trains, etc. So it has to be available. It has to respect all the latency requirements. It has to respect actually the service. So the service is important. And even the service, I will say, is more important than the data. And this is a crucial difference. Now, if we look into some tools that we have for the operations, one is this. Could be another one, right? These endpoint detection and response solutions that I think that there have been some presentations during the day, today and tomorrow. If you like to implement this in a network, in a telecom network, the thing is that you need to be aware of different things, of different standards that applies to mobile networks than to IT networks. You need to also consider that the regulation and the policy, the security policies implemented in a telco network are going to be quite different. They need to guarantee the service, the availability of the service. So the configuration of these kind of solutions in this case EDR solutions, or another kind of solution, should be really adapted to the environment that we are dealing with. There is something that, this is again the same message. Different factors that actually are the reality of these telecom networks is a bit different than the IT network. Also in a sense, look, if you see how, for instance, interconnection works between different networks, different operator networks, everybody likes to have roaming services, right? We travel, we go to some country, we like to have roaming services. Today, there are, or there will be actually at least three different schemas. You will have SS7, and I was here with SS7 26 years ago. SS7 is alive, it didn't die. So there are a lot of conferences about how to hack SS7. You can even watch a video on YouTube and you will be able to hack an SS7 network. SS7 still is today. It's being used to provide voice services when you are in roaming. You have diameter. What's the difference? Well, the protocol is different. Security, I will say the same. 5G introduced something better, what can actually help you to provide end-to-end security between the home network and the visiting networks. But all these three schemas will remain in the networks, even in 5G times. We are not switching off 3G. We are not switching off 2G, at least at the moment. You have 4G in the phones. You will have 5G. You have different schemas. So whatever solution that you are going to implement to protect, a link, and ultimately the network function supporting this link, needs to be aware that you will have protocols created 30 years ago. You will have protocols created or crafted in the last RFC published yesterday. This is a very important thing and very important factor. So, yeah, that's one of the critical things. The other thing is the resource consumption. We don't have unlimited resources in telecommunications. We have to consider what is the impact of security. Every security feature has an impact. But now, if you introduce, in 5G, I can give you an example. If in 5G, we introduce, in the very first release, we introduce integrity protection in their interface. If you are in the security field, you know all about these fault-based stations and all these attacks published in papers, etc., in the previous generations. One of the reasons for that was the lack of integrity protection in their interface, meaning from the mobile to the radio station. Now we introduce this, and we introduced this in 5G. We knew that in 4G, that it was a problem. Why didn't implement that? Because of the resources consumed in the base station and in the phone, right? So you don't like to drain your battery in 10 minutes. But the consequence of activate integrity protection in the interface is that you have a lot of impact. And now we are optimizing this. Now, after several years of the standardization, this is possible. So we need to mine really on the resource consumption of the security features that we are going to activate. Look, I'm going to give you an example of, this is coming from this year, first quarter. The attack, or the published attack, is called GTP Door. It's basically an APT, so an advanced persistent threat. It is published. I don't know if this is something that is real or not. It is published. You can test it. If you have an interconnection point to the GRX, so to the interconnection network, you can buy this. So you can go to, you can go to a country, or you can actually contract an IPX connection in a country with kind of a lax or lusurious regulation, and you can be in. What it's all about? Well, those guys that published the attack found a way to abuse GTPC. GTP is a well-known protocol since many generations, since at least I think it was created for 3G, then used in 4G, and now GTP, the control plane, is not used in 5G, but still it's being used in 4G, and as I explained you before, it's going to be there for years. And they found a way to abuse this, and when a connection to the interconnection network, so to the IPX network, you can actually set up a tunnel towards a network function that is in front of the interconnection network in the operator side, and implant a bot that communicates with command and control protocols with the attacker. So they were actually pretty smart, because they abused the protocol, the GTPC, to convert the protocol into a command and control protocol. Now, this is serious. This is very serious. If someone is able to exploit this, there are mitigations. Yes, there are mitigations. There are deploy mitigations in the network. Well, in IPX, I will say not many. It's more like a Wild West, and this is probably the one of the less secure part in the network. That's why 5G actually put a lot of emphasis to create security features on the roaming side, and we still are working on this. So to detect, if somebody is able to run this, to detect this, actually takes a time, and it takes actually an effort. Why? You need to understand the protocol. You need to understand what is inside the protocol. Then, even if you have a firewall, the firewall, GTPC, yeah, it is cool. It is standardized. Why should block this, right? So you need something actually that goes more into the messages that are interchanged. Overall, you need a multi-layer actually detection capabilities to be able to detect such a sophisticated attack. So how to do that? Well, there are we believe that there are 3 layers of working, right? So the first layer is on the infrastructure itself. So you need kind of firewalls, proxies, IDS, etc. Yes, you need. You need to adopt security mechanisms, standardized security mechanisms, and activate those features in the network. Yes, you need. So it's not the point that now 5G standardize the encryption of the SUPI, of the IMSI, when it's communicated to their interface, and somebody select null encryption, because the whole effort goes to nothing, right? So the critical infrastructure is important. Then at the level of the network security infrastructure, we need actually tools. And again, these endpoint detection response tools are a good example that can actually be specialized or specific to those protocols, understand those protocols, and give a solution to those protocols. And last but not least, those should generate actionable alerts. Not every kind of alert, but alerts with a meaningful context to all the security orchestration tools that can, activate a security plan, can help you to mitigate whatever has been compromised in the network. And yeah, that's all from my side. So thanks a lot for listening to me today. And yeah, hopefully I give you some hints or some points to think about. And the whole purpose was actually to help you to make decisions and to encourage you to make decisions at all levels, meaning standards, meaning the security in the products, and also at the operational side. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.